Okay guys, this video is going to be a little bit later tonight. You probably can hear my son screaming in the background, but so here's the sandpaper I use. It's the Wet or Dry 1000 grit. I can't find my packaging, but this is all it is. So I'm just going to do this under the water. Hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm just going to keep the cup and the paper wet and just sand off any rough spots that I feel. And fill up the sink. It's gonna take the shine off, but don't be worried about that because you're gonna coat it again in another layer, so it'll all come back. But I'll show you up close. Kind of what I mean. Mostly on this curve seems to be where a lot of little bumps get. Okay. It doesn't take much. I think that's most of the big spots. Just little spikes. You'll feel a difference as you're sanding. Kind of where it needs more. Let me flip this around so I can show you kind of the difference. So this is the one I already sanded. This is the one yet to be sanded. So you can kind of see it dulls it a little bit. It's kind of hard to see it on here. But it'll get that shine back with the next coat of epoxy. So don't think you've ruined them, you haven't. The final coat of epoxy will liven them all back up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sand this other one down in the same way I just did this one. But to keep the video short, I won't film that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the decals cut. And then I will be back to apply those and do the last coat of epoxy. Okay, back to get my decal added to these two. You can see my lovely puzzle pieces here of a decal that will be put together to look like this. So I've already got my epoxy made and mixed. If you didn't catch that one, if you just search, I think by my last name comes up the easiest in the group. You'll find my video from yesterday that gave more detail on what I was using and how I mixed it and all that good stuff. So here are my 2 cups. You can see, oh, a little bit better there. There you go. All the dull scratchiness, that is from me taking the sandpaper to these cups. So, I'm gonna see about getting the camera set up a little bit better so you can watch me get the decals added to these guys. Okay, so I'm actually gonna use my little trick here. I actually use my desk and like my stomach, my chest to like hold my cup in place while I add my decals. Just here, find my tape. So I'm just gonna puzzle them through here, just like my picture on my screen, which is just gonna kind of be my guide to make sure I get these pieces put on here correctly. I have 2 cups. They're both getting the same exact decal, so I'll just show me putting one of them on and then get the other one done off camera, and then I'll be back to do the epoxy on these guys. So I don't know, I just like to see kind of where I might like the front of it to be. Not that it makes much of a difference, but I don't know, some spots kind of look a little bit better than others. So it just sticks, you know, right on with whatever transfer tape you use. I think it's a medium tack from, I got it from Vinyl World, 651. It's a website. I get almost all my vinyl from them as well. And then this decal that I'm doing came from Etsy. I mentioned the shop and I think my first video, so the one of the glittering, I think is where I mentioned the shop that I bought this from. And it's actually a rhinestone decal. So it's made for mixed media, like doing rhinestones and iron-on a shirt. So I just shut the rhinestone layer off and then shrunk the rest of this down to fit my cup. You can leave the rhinestone layer on and just cut it with like a vinyl or something. I tried that and the circles were way too small. It was just tearing. So I just opted to shut it off and just use the glitter that's on the cups to add that little bit of sparkle. So I just keep reusing actually the same piece of transfer tape. I mean, I can use it for quite a while before it loses enough of its stickiness to not be very useful anymore. So I just use it up as much as I can. No sense in wasting it if it's still sticky and picking up my vinyl. So I just use that as my road map here. Almost done. Oh, that got a lot brighter, didn't it? A lot more pieces than my A's one was, it feels like. Maybe just because they're thinner. Okay, go, let's get the name on here. There we go. Alright, so this guy is all ready for the second coat. We will get him sealed as well as the other one. Nice Giants logo, and they're nice colors. Rival team of mine, I'm the A's, but my family is Giants fans, so it works. Okay, so I'm gonna get the other one, get the decal on the other guy, and then I'll be back to get this stuff up. Alright, so here are both. Good to go. All sparkly and kind of roughed up from sanding them. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and put the logo up on both of these. I'm going to make it easier for me to track, also spinning them around. So I'll do this one that you guys can see first, and then the other one, since it's off camera, I'll do off camera. So this is going to be the same as yesterday. I'm just going to get them coated. It's not going to take quite as much of the epoxy since there already is a coat on here. The first one seems to take a little bit more because the glitter, just any gaps that it leaves, it kind of absorbs it and soaks it in. So this time, since there's already pretty much like a glaze type of on it, this is just going over the top, so it's not going to take quite as much of it to get through. So I'll get them both coated, and then it'll be flipping them 180 every 10 minutes for the first hour, and then I'll be back for every 20 to 30 minutes for 2 to 3 hours after that, or whenever I go to bed. This one's done a little bit later tonight. It's 8 o'clock here where I am already over in California. So I will rotate them as much as I can before I go to bed. Today was just kind of one of those days. I got started a little bit later after I got home. So let me get this one done for you guys. This got really warm today. That way I can get this posted before it's way too late, because I know first thing in the morning comments will be shut off as with the last one. So I'd like to have it posted for a little bit to try to answer any questions that I can. So this is just going to go right over the top of your decal. It's also going to help seal it in, I guess you could say. So they won't have to worry about when they go to wash it. I've had one for like a year now, so when I go to wash it, I don't really have to worry about it like peeling up or lifting or anything like that, because it's going to be under this nice epoxy layer here. So it is not going to go anywhere. And you can already see, I don't know if you can kind of tell in the video, but I know I can tell by looking at it here. Any questions, go ahead and let me know. This will be the last video for these guys. I will post a picture of them tomorrow. I craft at night after work. I do work full time, so this unfortunately isn't something I really get to do kind of during the day. So I know like the box on this epoxy says that you can kind of touch it or do your recoats after like 6 hours or something like that. That's not feasible for me, just because of being at work, and when I get home I gotta do dinner and deal with my son, so mine end up always sitting a full day in between whatever it is I'm doing to them, and that just works for me. But if you have more of a schedule that allows you to just crank them out in like a day and a half, that's fantastic. Just double check the box on the epoxy box. It gives you kind of when it can be used, when you can start, you know, touching it and handling it, and start doing any of your other work to it. So any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the